I don't have money to save. This is a comment that I get a lot of the time. Many people feel like they do not have enough money to save anything or put anything towards extra debt repayments. I will say, with the amount of custom budgets I've done and the amount of one-on-one calls I do, there's so much more flexibility than what you think there is in most cases. So if you're in this situation, the first thing I want you to do is to start tracking your spending, and you need to do this for 30 days. After 30 days, you will see a pattern of spending. So you'll see your grocery spending, your shopping spending, your restaurant spend, whatever, and you're gonna write everything down. And now I want you to sit down and I want you to write down your total income for the month. You're gonna minus your fixed expenses, so your rent, Wi-Fi, cell phone bills, subscriptions, whatever, and any minimum debt repayments. That is going to give you a number that's basically what you have to play around with for your variable spending, so your groceries, restaurants, etc., as well as savings and investments. It'll become clear pretty quickly where there's wiggle room in your budget. Are you spending too much at restaurants? Are you spending a little bit too much at shopping or Amazon? What are those things that you might be spending your money on that you're not necessarily thinking about that could be better used towards extra debt repayments or savings and investments? I hope this helps, and you got this.
I went from saving nothing in 2023 to saving $30,000 in 2024. So if you want to save money in 2025, here are a few things that I did that might help you. Number one, I started auditing my own spending. I started tracking every single dollar that I spend. I have a budgeting sheet and I update it every single day with everything that I spent on that day. Tracking makes a huge difference because you don't want to get at the end of the month and not know where your $6,000 went. Number two, check your subscriptions. Yesterday, I was doing my everyday tracking when I received a notification of a $50 subscription that I completely forgot about. Number three, stop with the unconscious habit spending. These are things like coffee out every day, impulse buying, following social media trends, takeaway lunch every Friday, anything that's not a conscious, active choice. Number four, spend more on your weekly grocery shopping. You need to start meal prepping. I know it sucks to eat the same thing every single day, but all of those takeouts are draining your wallet. I used to go out to get dinner every day and I didn't realize how much it was costing me until I started tracking everything. And now I spend more on my weekly grocery run and I actually save money. Number five, I stopped buying new clothes all the time. Following trends, it's horrible for your wallet. Instead, what you can do, you can go to Target or even Ross because they have cheaper clothes and they're still good quality. Number six, you don't need little treats to be happy. I know that dopamine hit in the moment feels good, but in the long run, it can be so damaging. Number seven, start a no spend challenge. You can start small, maybe spend an entire week without buying anything that's not a necessity, and instead put the money aside into savings so you can see exactly how much you saved at the end of that week. And I assure you, that's gonna motivate you to save even more. I'm here to help you, so if you want more tips, give me a follow and leave any questions that you have in the comments.
My 5 tips for more financial discipline. My name is Christian Maldonado. I'm a 28-year-old tax accountant based here in Miami. And to start, I want to make one thing clear. You want more financial discipline, it's based on one thing: you. I want you to save this video so you can refer to it later because I'm going to go through this extremely quickly. Tip number one is writing down all of your finances in your life. If it's on paper, it's real. Right now, if you have no idea how much money your life costs every single month, you're already behind. Tip two is going to be to take a look at that list and start cutting expenses that you know that you don't need. We all have expenses that we pay for that we don't use, but we feel like we need to keep them just because we use them once in a blue moon. Tip number three is if you wrote down your credit card bills and you're behind on them, I want you to cut the cards. If you have access to the cards, you're just going to keep spending money on them. Step number four is I want you to go back to that bill list and I want you to try to go as low as possible to live below your means. If you constantly find yourself having to struggle to pay your bills every month, you're living way beyond your means. And the fifth step, and this is the most important, I want you to start allocating at least 5 to 10% of your monthly income into an account that you can't touch. The easiest way to do this is by getting a family member, your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, to have that account with you, make it a joint account, have them ensure that you do not touch any of that money for at least a year. If you can honestly implement these 5 tips, I can guarantee that within a year, you will be so much more financially disciplined. You will see money for what it is. Follow for more tips like this.
Okay, broke people money saving tips. Disclaimer, because I know you're going to say it, I'm not broke right now. I'm not broke. I'm lower middle class. But I did live as a broke person for, like 35 years of my life or some shit. So here is what I learned. Okay, the first one, you're going to fucking hate it because I know I hated hearing this shit, but food, the way you spend money on food will totally impact your life. First thing I'm going to say, apply for EBT. What's the worst they can say? No. One time I was on EBT though, and they gave me like $200 a month, and that shit changed my life. So apply. Even if you don't think you'll qualify, just give it a shot. Now, If you don't qualify, we're going to talk about how you spend money on food, but not from some like Republican bootstrappy perspective, because fuck them. I'm going to tell you right now, all the special treats that you eat for yourself, all the food delivery, all the restaurant outings, you should be able to eat those. I think you should be able to eat those things. And also, while we live in capitalist hellscape, it literally is consumer spending, which is the backbone of the US economy. The fact that you can't afford to do things like get food delivered or fucking go out to a restaurant, that's a bad sign for the entire economy and all of capitalism on the whole, all right? That's the world we live in. So you probably realistically, for your own money, you probably can't afford to do that. Not your fault, their fault. But in the meantime, here is how shopping for food really cheap works. Okay, number one, lots of grains, lots of shelf staple grains. I go to Costco and I got like this giant bag of rice and it's lasted me like 3 years. Also, lentils. Lentils are so fucking cheap and you can make them into so many different things. There's red lentils, there's green lentils, there's black lentils, and they all cook a little different. And you can make them into things like curries, you can make them into things like soups, you can add vegetables to them. Very versatile, very nutritious. Speaking of vegetables, when you shop for your vegetables, go to that little stand they have usually off to the side in the produce section of your local grocery store, and it'll be all the produce that's about to expire. Get that shit. Just get that shit. That's the produce you're eating. It'll be something healthy you can add to your meals, and it's usually super cheap. Bonus, you can usually find one of those for non-produce as well, hiding somewhere in your grocery store. It's just all the shit that's about to go bad. You will need to grocery shop more often for those types of things, but it will save you a lot of money and be worth it. Okay, number two, your phone. Holy shit, I was paying like $150 a month for my phone because you're too broke to own the phone, so then you have to do the plan to try to buy the phone from the company. You don't really understand how the fucking phone bill works, so you're just like ending up with this like $100 phone bill and then like $50 for it's a mess. If you don't own your phone outright, ask everybody you know if they have an old shitty phone that you can have. People with more money than you know what they do? They save their old phones. They upgrade for fun and they save their old phones in case something happens. Ask if you can have their old backup phone. It's not a surefire thing because maybe all your friends are broke like you too, but maybe someone's not. I have a rich friend and she started giving me all of her hand-me-down phones once I started asking. Saved me like $50 a month off of my phone plan alone. And also talk to your phone people and be like, I am poor. I will cancel my phone service unless you can get it as cheap as humanly possible. See what happens. I got my phone bill down to like $45 a month by doing this. Okay, and number three, transportation. Do everything in your power not to have a monthly car payment. That shit will fuck you. Drive a beater, take the bus, get a bike, whatever you can do. Good luck. It's rough out there.
Let's talk things that I do to save money. We are buying way too much stuff and throwing way too much garbage out, and it's just truly stuff that we don't need. So here is a list of things that I do that save me money. Number one, I don't get my nails done anymore. I raw dog the nails. I freaking love it. I just cut them and I do them myself. I feel so free because trust me, like I did my nails for 2 years in a row. I would go and get them done every 3 weeks, spend about like $90 with a tip, and I spent so much money doing that. Just being a dog mom, living my life, going on trails, spending a lot more time outdoors, I felt like nails were just not part of my life anymore, and I kind of love the way that they look and feel when I'm doing things. Number two, and this is totally Vancouver core, but I use these Ernest ice cream jars for everything. I put my makeup brushes in here. I use them for food, like for overnight chia seed pudding, and I freaking love these things. Using mason jars that you can just pick up from the thrift store or your local ice cream shop is just so handy for so much. Number three is Facebook Marketplace, and I feel like that was to be expected. Honestly, there's so much cool stuff on there. When we first moved to Vancouver, we thrifted everything because when we moved here, we sold all of our furniture and we didn't have the money to buy anything new. Over the past 3 years, we've been slowly upgrading things. Still, majority of our place is secondhand from Facebook Marketplace. I have so many unique little pieces that you can't buy in store because we thrifted them. Number four is something that I actually took from one of my girlfriends, and now we will have either like a spring closet clean out, and we will dump out all the stuff that we would technically donate, and we would have our friends over, go through everything and pick through the clothing that we want. Instead of like saying that we're keeping it forever, we say that we're keeping it in the family. And I just really love that idea. Also, one more thing that I want to mention, every single plant in my house, like this one here, and there's so many others scattered through the house, they are all plants that are cut from my friends' plants that my fiance and I have taken care of and grown to be bigger plants. Yeah, just gifting each other plants and growing them and nurturing them is kind of really nice. Don't get me wrong, like I'm totally guilty of falling into the spending spiral, but I hope a couple of these things help. Please comment what you do to save money if it's not on this list.
Top 5 things that have helped me save money in 2025. The first thing is doing my own nails. Oh my god, I save so much freaking money doing that. using clip-in hair extensions, because you could just take them out, put them in whenever you want, and it saves so much money. This is like random, but like I used to use so much shampoo, but you don't need that much shampoo. Like ration it out. Like, let's just be for real. Stop over consuming makeup. So it hasn't been working out for me that well, but I'm trying. I'm really trying. Reading the reviews before I buy something. Oh my god, guys, read the reviews. The little yellow app. Anyway, yeah, love you guys.
Saving tips that I used last year to save $20,000 so I could travel this year, and how you're going to keep your resolution and save a ton of money this year too. Tip 1 is to set a why. I think this is an absolute crucial step that a lot of people do miss, and they're like, I'm just going to save money, and then they like down the line they start saving a bunch of money, and then they're like, oh, I have all this money, so I'm just going to go and spend it now. But having like a bigger why and a bigger goal as to what you're saving for can help you like keep you accountable. It helps see your progression, and it makes you think like, who am I and who do I want to become with this goal in mind? Okay, so for me, it was to travel. I really wanted to travel, and this has been a dream of mine forever. And so sacrificing by not going to Starbucks every day and going and getting food all the time and like buying new clothes all the time and thinking like, oh my goodness, I'm going to be on a beach in Croatia next year, it made me actually stay accountable and be like, hey, finally I'm like actually working towards something. This is going to be worth it in the end. Where I think a lot of people miss this step and they like get completely lost and they're like, oh, what am I actually saving for? So first of all, define your why. Tip 2 is cut out the BS. Okay, I know that we all are guilty of BS spending, but just like stop it. And I think this is why you need to define your why and your goal first, because, well, I like going out for food and it brings me enjoyment and blah 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 blah, but like I want to travel next year and I can't have both. And you need to understand that like if you're trying to save money, you need to sacrifice things, and like that sacrifice is going to be worth it because you have this goal. So stop going out for food, stop buying all the crap on Amazon, stop like whatever it is that you are currently spending money for, and if it's not working towards your goal and it's also not a need, cut it out because it's wasting a lot of money. Tip 3 is to automate your savings or create a game out of it, okay? So this can be like doing a direct deposit after every time you get paid, you have it automated in your bank where $200 comes out and it goes into a separate savings account. Or right now I'm doing the 100 envelope challenge, and that's really helpful for me because it's like a fun little game. You can watch that on my page if you want to see how you can recreate that. But I think like gamifying it or automating it can be a huge help, because at the end of the month, sometimes you're like, I only have like $100 to save, like let me just throw that into my savings, when you should be like paying yourself first. 4 is living below your means. I think this is extremely underrated and I don't hear a lot of people talk about this, but your needs should be under 50% of your income. And if it is surpassing that, then you're probably living above your means. I don't think that you probably need a car payment, probably have like extremely high rent, your phone bill is probably financed your phone, and like let's consider all of the stuff that you actually need to live and finding ways to maybe reduce that cost. Right now, me and my partner, for our incomes, it is like 35% each of our incomes, so we can save so much more money by having like lesser living costs. So if you want me to go over that in a different video of how maybe you could reduce your living costs, let me know. Tip 5 is kind of a bonus, but it's how your money can make more money, which is investing. I'm no financial advisor, so I'm not going to give very concrete investing tips because I'm not qualified to do that. But just in this past year, for my money, I have made 33% on interest, which is insane. And that is how I could save so much more money, and it also like builds to be so much more. And being 21 years old, I have the rest of my life for that to grow, and that in turn will make me so much more money in the end. So maybe that could be a goal for you too, is to invest more. But if you do have savings, like looking into things of like GICs or mutual funds or whatever that might look like for you, finding different ways, or a high yield savings account even, finding different ways of how you could keep those savings to make even more money. Because in interest alone, I made like thousands of dollars this year, which is such a freaking win. So let me know if any of these tips helped you, or if you would like to see a part 2 of like more fine nitty gritty things of like what I do to save money.
If one of your goals for 2025 is to cut back your spending and to save more, these are some of the best ways that you can do so coming from a 24-year-old who lives in a very high cost of living city but lives well below their means. The first one is going to be focused around food because I find that this is an area a lot of people overspend. One thing that I personally do is I'll try to only eat out when I'm hanging out with other people, so it doubles as a social activity and also takes a little bit more planning. It prevents me from getting into that habit of ordering takeout every time that I'm tired or lazy. Then related to this is going to be around groceries. It's very important to create a habit out of grocery shopping every single week so you always have food on deck, which will encourage you to cook more. Also making sure that you're being strategic and grocery shopping within reason, because this is one of the areas where I see a lot of waste. People overbuy and then just end up eating out a lot. The second area is going to be around subscriptions. The new year is a great time to reevaluate and take a look at some of these recurring expenses that are coming out of your bank account every year and evaluating whether these are things you're actually using. Try canceling for a month or two, and if you honestly don't notice it, you probably do not need it. The last area is going to be around shopping. My best tip to anyone when it comes to trying to spend less money when it comes to shopping is going to be A, keeping yourself busy, and B, implementing a 48-hour rule. I'll tell you how much more money I end up spending on shopping when I have so much downtime and I'm just scrolling online. And on the other hand of this, avoiding impulse spending is going to be huge. So implementing a 48-hour rule. If you see something you like, wait on it for 2 days, and then if you still really want it, then go ahead and buy it. They're obviously just some small tips. I do think with these small lifestyle changes, you can make a big difference when it comes to your spending.
Okay, I think I have what is the best money saving hack that anyone can use. Super effective, super simple. I'm not sure why other people don't use it more, but listen to me. Next time you're about to make a big purchase that you really don't need, take a mirror, stare into the mirror and say, I don't need this bullshit. Day 10 of trying not to spend money on things I don't need. And I'm really separating my wants from my needs. I want a vacation. Do I need one? Yeah. No, I don't need one. And I'm really trying to practice that word no in all languages. No, no, and no. And really just having that pep talk with yourself before you do something stupid. Hey, self, twin, what you doing? Are we about to spend $40 on tacos? Is this parlay really worth it? Do I need to go to the bar and spend $15 per shot? Do I need a new iPhone that has the same features as the one I have? Hey man, the economy ain't getting no better, so the only way for us to survive is to be better with our finances. Simple as that.
My budget, save money. My budget, save money.
There is one method that I used to start managing my money in my 20s, and it helped me grow my savings account effortlessly. I wouldn't even think about it, and I would just check my bank account and I'd be like, holy crap, there's more money in there. And when I tell you this, it is so simple. You're gonna be like, why didn't I think of that before? This method was my saving grace that helped me finally break the paycheck to paycheck cycle, because even though I was making decent money, I couldn't seem to get ahead or above that number in my bank account. Like that one number, you know, every time you log in and you see it, you're like, why? Like you thought you were doing good, but it's still the same. Or it changes for a little bit, but then it just goes right back to it. This method will help you get over that. And this method works for like any type of savings goal. So my students have been able to use it to pay off their credit cards, save a down payment for a house, save to pay off their student loans, save for a new car, save for a trip they've always wanted to go on, invest for retirement. You name it, it works. And the reason why it works so well is because it combines both strategy and psychology. So I call this the future first method, and there are 4 steps. First thing you need to do is go and open an account with a bank that is different from the one you use for your daily banking. This is because we don't want you to have easy access to the money for things that the money is not for. And because by using an online bank, you'll be able to get something called an HYSA, or high yield savings account. This account will pay you 12 times more than your regular savings account with your bank, and that money can help you reach your goals faster or be another stream of income for you to spend. I make a few $100s a month off mine. The next step is PYF, or pay your future self first. This is what the rich do, and if you want to become rich, you need to emulate them. This means before you spend any money out of your paycheck, you're going to transfer money over into your goals accounts instead of waiting to see if you have anything left over. The third step is not counting on yourself to actually manually do this transfer every time you get paid. Because if you're like me, then something's going to come up or you're going to forget about it, and then you're not going to do it. So we want to make saving effortless and automatic. What you're going to do is set up automatic transfers from your bank account into your high yield savings account every time you get paid. Fourth step is all about psychology. So we are going to actually name those accounts. I use EQ Bank in Canada, and I know Ally in the US, you can actually do this. You'd have your main account, right? And then within that account, you can have different sub accounts. So you could have like Bali 2025, new car, new house. You can actually set savings goals within those accounts. And this way it helps you get out in front of self-sabotage, because it becomes so much harder to steal from yourself when you can bring your present mind back to what that goal was actually for. Instead of this money just like being in your savings, now you're stealing from new house. Well, what do you want more, that sweater or the new house? And it's a good way to bring yourself back to that present moment and remind yourself of what's truly important to you and what your actual values are. If you want to learn more about this strategy,